Hey guys, this is RBR Short Films 13, aka Ryan, and today I'm doing a live stream, not like a video game live stream, but a live stream talking about Splinter Cell, the Splinter Cell franchise, and is Splinter Cell dead? The franchise itself. I haven't talked about Splinter Cell for a while on my channel, but it's my favorite video game franchise, and just I usually play up my hair, but whatever. Yeah, I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan ever since I was a kid. But I didn't really get into playing the games until I was 14, and then I played them on the PS2 for games in a row: Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory, Double Agent, and then got Splinter Cell Conviction on that when I got my Xbox 360 in 2010, and I became a huge Xbox fan forever after that. And uh, that was my introduction to Blacklist, Conviction, Blacklist, and I just became a huge Splinter Cell fan. So yeah, so this is a like discussion live stream. Show you guys some my gameplay videos I've recorded throughout time of Splinter Cell because I don't post live streams, so it'd be cool to at least share something. And if you guys like that, maybe in the future I can do a Splinter Cell live stream, video game live stream. It's just getting the right equipment. I don't have a PC. I have a Mac because I edit my movies. Uh, it's just because Final Cut Pro and all that is on a Mac, not on a Windows. So I use Mac for that. And then for video games, I play consoles. Like I have my Xbox and PlayStation, so I use those. But I wouldn't be against live streaming video games in the future. I just have to figure all that out. But once I do, definitely for sure. Hey, Kaylee, we're live. Yes, we are, and you can hear me. Everything's good. There's no audio issues. I hope not. Make sure my volume isn't too loud. I have the Splinter Cell Conviction theme playing in the background. That's my favorite Splinter Cell theme. I don't know. I might put on another one of the games for background music because it's to have the atmosphere and everything for this live stream. All good. All right. What I want to do is I want to share my screen for a little bit. I want to show you and anybody that joins some video game footage, gameplay footage from the Splinter Cell games. I've never really shown you guys that because you know that I edit on a Mac for my movies, and Windows it just isn't the computer. Windows computers just aren't for the movies that I make. And I don't, and then also I play video games on consoles. So uh, I just never really got into PC gaming. I played Splinter Cell Conviction on this iMac. Actually, when I first got this iMac in 2017, I played Splinter Cell Conviction on here, and I really enjoyed that experience actually. And I was like, oh, maybe Mac will come around and be like Windows and offer games, like Windows does. Uh, and they are getting better at it. I mean, they are, but for a long time, Mac didn't have a lot of games available to play. So, and then one day, the Splinter Cell Conviction became unplayable um, on my Mac. Like I could no longer play it. I don't know what it was, but it had nothing to do with my computer or anything like that. It just the game is unplayable now, and that was like one of the few times really I played not on a console. So yeah, I just never got into PC gaming. I know a lot of people do, but did you hear about Splinter Cell Death Watch? It's supposed to be coming to Netflix this year, but Michael Ironside has been replaced with Lisa. Yeah, I'm not too interested because it's not Michael Ironside, so I'm not really that interested, honestly. Um, Michael Ironside is Sam Fisher, and they never gave Sam Fisher his send off. I mean, Splinter Cell Conviction, he he sort of was given a send off, but Blacklist, um, it's like there had to be a sequel to that after, and to wrap up Michael Ironside's story as Sam. There was one more story left, to really give Sam his send off and to pass the torch to a new generation of characters, like new Splinter Cells. Not necessarily starting over, but sort of where Sam, he's leader of Fourth Echelon, and he hires new Splinter Cells to take over, and they carry on the story. Maybe Sam Fisher, he just retires, and walks away, and that's that. We should have gotten that kind of game, you know, where it's set up, future entries, but also gave a good send off to Sam, because Conviction was just kind of, it just felt like the final game. Like there were nothing was being set up, at the end of Conviction. So, but Blacklist, even though it had an ending, it still felt open ended, and that's the problem. And I think if they just made one more Splinter Cell game, uh, for with Michael Ironside, then if they made more Splinter Cell games, in the future without Michael Ironside, I would be definitely open minded to that. Michael says he's too old to voice Sam, but I think he just dropped out of Death Watch because it wasn't quality. Netflix is known for cutting corners of storytelling. Yeah, I don't blame Ironside. He understands the character better than anybody. He's voiced that character since 2002, since the very first game, and I don't think Sam Fisher would be who he'd be as icon as he is without Ironside. I mean, that voice is Sam Fisher. When you hear that voice, your mind goes to Splinter Cell. Your mind goes to those games. It's it's just there's some actors you can't replace. Like James Earl Jones, you couldn't replace him as Darth Vader. There's certain Kevin Conroy as Batman. There's a certain voice actors you just cannot replace. And Michael Ironside's one of them. And so whoever's taking over Sam Fisher, it's already big. It's already um, a a big deal. But they've already done that before. They already tried that. They went with a different actor, and nobody liked that. None of us liked that. I was. I remember the E3 reveal. It's on my YouTube channel. I remember in 2012 when saw the Splinter Cell Blacklist E3 reveal for the first time, and I was so excited. It was when E3 was still around, um, and it said, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Sam Fisher had his knife back because he didn't have the knife in Conviction, and that became his signature weapon after Chaos Theory and Double Agent. So uh, it was very exciting to see that demo, and um, it just looked really fun. And then all of a sudden, um, you hear Sam's voice, and then you're like, oh, wait, wait, what? I was so confused, because you're watching. I'm like watching this gameplay demo and everything for like 6 minutes, and I'm thinking that Sam isn't. It's just he's just not talking really. And then you hear his voice really, clear by the end of the demo, and it takes you out of it. I mean, it's not Sam. It's a guy sounds like he's in his 30s, voicing a character that's in his late 50s, mid to late 50s at the time in the storyline. It just didn't work, especially that Ironside was always this like he always had this deep voice. It was very, I'm Sam Fisher. Like not everybody can do that, can portray that voice accurately. Um, but when they were going the performance capture route, Ubisoft, they should have hired someone that sounded more like, I don't know, Sam Fisher, and not cast someone as young. Maybe cast someone in their 40s and has a more raspy voice. Uh, try to stay as true to the character as possible. You're not gonna 100% get it accurate. Because with Michael Ironside, that's lightning in a bottle. There will never be another Michael Ironside. Um, and that portrayal of Sam Fisher will always be like for James Bond fans, when people say Sean Connery is the best, Bond. I mean, I heard that forever. I mean, it wasn't until Daniel Craig where, that started to change, people's favorite Bond. Because forever it was always uh, Sean Connery, and he was the first Bond, So it took um, uh, about over 40 years for a new Bond actor to at all surpass Sean Connery or be at his level. So it's very hard to find an actor that can do that, and they just if they're I almost wish that Ironside could AI his voice, like just give the rights to his voice to the franchise forever, so they can we can just use Ironside's voice. Don't have to go to him, and can just use his voice, for any game, and it doesn't matter. That would be honestly the best thing they could do by this point. But I don't think Michael Ironside wants that. And Yeah, it just sucks. Uh, Leaf Schreiber is a good actor. I've always thought he's a good actor. I just never looked at him as Sam Fisher. Um, but I will say though, Liev Schreiber's casting is way better than uh, Eric Johnson's uh, uh, casting, because at least Liev Schreiber is like in his 60s, or he's in his 50s, 60s, so like he has like a you know raspy voice, like a grittier voice, like Sam. So uh, I am more open-minded. Also, Liev Schreiber is a great actor, so that's another thing. Eric Johnson wasn't a great actor. I mean, he was all right. He just wasn't, good for Sam Fisher. So Liev Schreiber, I do think, is a better casting choice. And given the right writers, the right directors, I do think it can work. Uh, it's just the state of Ubisoft right now. I have no idea what what's going to happen. But I'm very disappointed as a Splinter Cell fan. Uh, it's just I love this franchise, and um, I never thought that out of all video game franchises that are out there, this one would be the one like the most uh, not that this many years after Blacklist. Since all the video games that have come out since then and franchises that are still around since then, that Splinter Cell is this one of the only franchises that hasn't made a return. Like, sure, okay, the DLC stuff, you know, like, okay, but in terms of his own game, I mean, it's 12 years. I mean, we're gonna get a Grand Theft Auto game before a Splinter Cell game, and I would have never thought in a million years that that would have ever happened. Like, when GTA 5 came out, I was like, "Okay, the next Splinter Cell will come out, and then the next Grand Theft Auto, and then the next Splinter Cell, and then the next Grand Theft Auto." I will, you know, life is definitely full of surprises, and in the gaming world, it can be. And yeah, it's very much a surprise that we're getting GTA 6 before another Splinter Cell game. They talked about that remake. Ubisoft talked about the Splinter Cell remake for a while. And they even made a video about it, and showed, here, we're making this game. Here's some production. I mean, here's some art pictures. Here's how the game is going to look. It's going to be linear. It's going to have ray tracing. It's going to blah 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 blah. And then 2 years later, we hear nothing. And then we hear the director leaves. And then, oh, we need to hire new people. Like, what are you doing, Ubisoft? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And the thing is Splinter Cell is not it's not like Grand Theft Auto, this massive open world game, where you so much has to be put into it. Like, still you have to put so much into any video game, especially Splinter Cell, but it's not an open world game, it's linear. It should be easier to make. Um, and I know there was talks for a long time about an open world Splinter Cell, but nobody wanted it, because Splinter Cell is linear, So, why have an open world game for a franchise that's been nothing but linear, And that's the structure and base of it. So, uh, think that also may have been why we didn't get another Splinter Cell for a while, as well as because people don't want open world for Splinter Cell. Maybe Ubisoft wanted to turn Splinter Cell into open world because Assassin's Creed's open world, Ghost Recon is open world, um, and they wanted to, I guess, add Splinter Cell to that. But it's just not a open world video game franchise. It just doesn't have the story for it. So I just hope that one day we get a new game. Um, and I'm okay with waiting until like another studio could take over, and buy the rights to Splinter Cell, take it away from Ubisoft, and give it to people that legit care about this franchise and will actually do something with it. And would just try, you know. Ubisoft, I mean, they were number one. I mean, like video game franchise for me, like growing up, like they had all the games, and Splinter Cell was like in the beginning was Xbox exclusive. Like, I mean, they were ahead of their time, and then I don't know what happened. It was like after 2013, Ubisoft went downhill. It was like after 2013, that was the last good year for Ubisoft, and then that was it. So I don't know if we'll ever see that Ubisoft ever again. I don't know. Um, Michael Ironside's Michael Ironside's voice is so legendary. There just can't be a replacement. If he retires, the character should end. Exactly. That's why I want Sam to get his send off. Um, one more game, where you know he has his beginning, middle, and end, and he passes the torch to new characters, and those new characters, will take over after that. Set up new stories and characters, but have Sam introduce us to those characters. You know, um, that is what I think would be the best thing to do with the franchise because it's called Splinter Cell. It's not called Sam Fisher. The games are not called Sam Fisher. They're called Splinter Cell. So, with with it being called Splinter Cell, it means that there are other Splinter Cells in the video game in the games. Like there are other versions. It's not just Sam. So that could work with a new Splinter Cell, someone that isn't Sam Fisher, but maybe has qualities like him, uh, similar characteristics and personalities, but he's not exactly like Sam Fisher. He's just a new Splinter Cell. You know, and the games continue to always like reference Sam, Easter eggs, things like that to always, honor Sam's character, but to continue on with Splinter Cell, evolve it, and with new characters. I just think that's the best thing to do, and it's not really that difficult. Um, just yeah, I don't know why Ubisoft just cannot come up with anything. Um, James Earl Jones did the AI voice thing. It wasn't bad for Kenobi, and he made bank for it. Exactly, exactly. And I even think Harrison Ford did. Actually, he did as well. That he gave his CGI uh, face to Disney. So I mean to Lucasfilm. So like whenever they make an Indiana Jones reboot or anything like that, they'll use Harrison Ford's um, uh, they'll like use his AI of him. They'll AI Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones in future movies. Like that's crazy. But it's different. Like if they got the permission, the studios got the permission from the actor. I think that's different. Um, and I wouldn't be mad if Michael Ironside gave permission, his rights to use his voice with AI for future Splinter Cell games. I just I mean, just pay Ironside, and call it a day. Like, it, you know, it, to never have to worry about someone else voicing Sam Fisher. I'll always hear Ironside's voice. That that would just be so um, just epic to not have to worry about. Is there going to be a different voice actor? Um, uh, because it's going to be a big deal. But they already tried in the past a different actor, so they should go ahead and do that again. And it should be a video game. And I'd say even if they can't get Ironside back for Sam Fisher's like send off story, get a voice actor, that is the closest you can get to Ironside, and have him play Sam for that one game just to pass on to new characters. It's just they gotta do something, and they're not doing anything. And they were talking about this remake forever, and I thought they were gonna show something at the showcase or something last month. There was gonna be some big reveal um, for the remake because basically on X, Ubisoft dropped a Splinter Cell like image of Sam Fisher from Pandora Tomorrow, and it was random. And fans were like, "What does this mean?" Because Ubisoft never drops anything, never post anything of Splinter Cell. So that was a huge deal. It was like, what does that mean? And they never even made it clear. So a lot of us thought that okay, we're actually going to get a actual reveal this time, and it's going to be about the remake or something about the franchise. And we got absolutely nothing, nothing from Ubisoft. So really disappointing. And uh, Tom Hardy is still in the loop for Splinter Cell movie, but the studio doesn't want to put the budget into it that it needs. Well, they announced that Tom Hardy Splinter Cell movie back when I was 15 years old. I'm going to be 30 in September. Uh, that movie's never going to happen. Um, so uh, I wish it would have. I think Tom Hardy would have been honestly, he would have been good as Sam Fisher. I think if they would have done live action Splinter Cell movies with Tom Hardy over the Venom movies, I would have been okay with that. Um, yeah, because Tom Hardy, he really could pull that off. And uh, yeah, I know that they were talking about. I mean, they announced the Splinter Cell movie back in 2005 when Splinter Cell Chaos Theory came out. Um, basically, when that video game came out, when you would play it in the main menu, it would one of the things it would say is play movie trailer, and you click on it, and it would say, and then there'd be this little teaser. It said with like titles, and it would say you've played the games, but you don't know Splinter Cell until you've seen the movie, and it's like this shot of like Sam Fisher putting on the goggles, but it's like you don't see his face or anything. And then it says Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, the movie. Um, and you know that never happened. Um, so yeah. Honestly, though, Splinter Cell is a video game, and it can work in novels as well. But Splinter Cell has a structure that's for video games. It's a linear structure. It's not really set up for movies. Even though I do think that a movie can be made out of Splinter Cell, I do think you can make a good film with the Splinter Cell formula. Um, I mean, by this point with Hollywood, it's like, what do you got to lose? By this point, why not? You know, um, and Splinter Cell is a great story. Sam Fisher is a great character, so I do think that it could be successful, and it'd be cool because it reintroduce Sam to a new generation because Splinter Cell hasn't been really relevant since 2013, 2014 with Splinter Cell Blacklist. So um, to bring it back and to bring it back with a movie. And if it was good and it did well, that could set up, new games, video game movie, I mean, all that stuff. But they're not trying. Ubisoft's not trying anything with this franchise. As long as they don't kill Sam off screen in a cutscene that means nothing, I'd rather no Sam than dead Sam. Yeah, I just want them to write where he retires. Like he's the leader of fourth echelon. You pick up where Blacklist left off. He's a leader of fourth echelon, and he's recruiting new Splinter Cell agents, and he's training. They're being trained and have been trained. They were like maybe CIA operatives and this and that, and they're now working, with fourth echelon, and that's where Sam, is passing the torch to these new characters. They're introduced in the game. Maybe you even play as the new character that they're setting up. And Sam Fisher is, the earpiece, character. Like he's the one that's calling the shots, or more so back and forth, where you play as Sam and then you play as the new Splinter Cell. Because Red Dead Redemption 2 did that, with Arthur. You played as Arthur, and then you played as John after. Was that his name? Um, do that like a Red Dead Redemption 2 thing. Like have half of it the game be Sam and his story and him retiring and giving him his send off, and then the other half of the game is the new Splinter Cell and really going into his story, giving him missions and um doing that. So it's like two games in one, you know, or just seriously just back and forth. Like one mission is Sam, the other mission is the other Splinter Cell. So you're going back and forth, kind of thing. Even if it's like three characters, maybe you go back and forth from Sam to this Splinter Cell to this Splinter Cell, and throughout the game it's scattered all around and you're going back and forth. Um, I mean, that would I think would work too. Um, so I think that they could make still a really good game and give Sam his send off, but they're just not doing it. And I don't know why. I know that Ubisoft seems to have their struggles with Ironside, and Ironside has his struggles at Ubisoft. Um, it seems like that's really what the main problem is. It's Michael Ironside cannot get along with Ubisoft, and that's why they can't get anywhere with this franchise because it's like they're like, what do we do without Ironside? Right? We tried that with Blacklist, and nobody liked that. So, um, and so it's like them also the NDAs and them not be able to say certain things. When I think the public deserves to know more about this stuff and what goes on behind the scenes. I think it needs to be less secrets. It's ridiculous. These are video games. I really like the idea of Legacy being a part of it. Sam handling the role over like Arthur did to John in Red Dead Redemption. Oh yeah, exactly. That. I think that's a really good direction they could go with it, and I just don't understand why they just I don't even know what Ubisoft is. You know, uh, it seemed like everybody left Ubisoft when COVID happened, and ever since COVID, it's like they have not been the same. But then they're making Star Wars Outlaws, which sucked. The new Assassin's Creed sucked. Everything that Ubisoft is doing right now sucks. They're not Ubisoft anymore. They're not Ubisuck. Like the people say that. Like, yeah, they suck. They are no longer the studio that I remember. Um, and they were awesome. Ubisoft was awesome, and now they're a joke. They're the most pathetic video game studio ever, ever. I heard a remake was on the table a few years ago, but no one wanted to touch the project development-wise. Yeah, it's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," but nope, scrap that, we're not gonna do this anymore. "Hey, we're gonna do this now." Nope. Like, can anyone explain that to me? Like, the logic behind that? Like, we're gonna announce and do this, and then, "Nope, we're not gonna do this anymore." And it's not like it's such a bad consistent pattern that they've done this. It's like, any video game franchise has its struggles, and there's projects, in any movie or video game franchises where there's development hell. It happens, but this is like a whole different level. Um, and I feel like there are a lot of things are being kept from us fans, like a lot of secrets. And if they would just tell us that, I think then we'd all be like, okay, that makes sense. Now this makes sense. Now this makes sense. And we wouldn't be so confused. Um, but anyway, I want to show you guys some gameplay videos that I've recorded throughout time of Splinter Cell. Um, some of like Splinter Cell Blacklist and just any Splinter Cell game in general. My favorite is Splinter Cell Conviction, so I have a lot saved of Splinter Cell Conviction. So I'm going to show you guys some of that, and then after that we'll talk more about the franchise. And when I before I get off the live stream, we can then talk about other things outside of Splinter Cell. And I'm totally fine with that. It's just I'm doing a Splinter Cell live stream because I'm just very frustrated and upset with where the franchise is at, what Ubisoft has done to it, and I just never thought the franchise would be in this much hell. Um, I thought of many video game franchises that this would be the one that they'd run into their bumpy roads, but they would figure it out, you know, one way or another. And Splinter Cell has now become a franchise that is just it's another Prince of Persia. It's an ancient franchise. It's no longer um, a franchise that is people are getting excited about or talking about. A lot of people don't even know what Splinter Cell is. This generation today, you don't even know what it is. I'll say, "Hey, do you know what Splinter Cell is?" And they're like, "No, I don't know what is Splinter Cell." Wait, what is that? Um, so it has to be reintroduced, and because that much time has gone, has been gone, you know, since 2013. So anyway, I'm gonna stop mumbling and start sharing my screen of some videos. But I think I'm gonna get a water real quick because I'm feeling a little dehydrated. More new Prince of Persia games than Splinter Cell. What a world we live in. Yeah, I know, Kaylee. All right, Kaylee. You're my mod. I'm literally just gonna be 10 seconds. I'm grabbing a bottle of water. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So I'll literally be right back. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen with you guys. I'll see if entire screen will be good. Whoa. Isn't that crazy? All right. So, um, let's see which one to click on first. This was just like this is the main menu of Splinter Cell Conviction. Uh, right here is basically um, increase the size of this. Um, I did I did a gameplay capture of just basically stuff that I can use for like future reviews of Splinter Cell, like a future review video of Splinter Cell Conviction, because I do want to review this game, because it's my favorite Splinter Cell game and one of my favorite video games, and this was my introduction to the Xbox 360. So, um, yeah, that's just a quick little thing to show you guys. This isn't gameplay footage yet, but I also just show you guys how much I played this game. And even this is me when I replayed it, because I beat like basically every achievement back in the day, but something happened with my old Xbox account, so I had to start over and unlock these achievements all over again. And there's like one more achievement I need to get um, with like the gadgets and stuff, but yeah, infiltration mode I have to complete still every single map. So I want to make sure that you guys can still see me. Now, Kaylee, can you see my entire screen? Kaylee? Okay. All right. Okay. So, because I did not title these videos, so it's just going to be random. But all right. So this is Splinter Cell Double Agent. This was me playing online. Um, Here, I haven't played Splinter Cell Double Agent in like online in years. I used to play it all the time before Splinter Cell Blacklist came out, 2013. So I used to be like way better at this game, but I don't know. What's also what makes it harder is everyone's good now when you play this, because everyone's like anybody that plays this anymore, like they've already played it. Like the amount of years that I've played it. So there's not really, I can never really win a whole lot compared to like when I first started playing it, when there were a bunch of uh, enemies that I could like, gamers I could like defeat in the matches, because they didn't necessarily didn't know the game as well as I did. But like, I, yeah, it's a big deal if I actually like win a match in the Double Agent. Even I've had people like express their opinion of my video game, uh, Splinter Cell video game performance. And, I've even been like removed from like game parties because I'm just like too bad um, with my play skill. Um, which only has happened to me with Double Agent, not the other two Splinter Cell games. But it's happened to me sometimes. All right, so that's one of them. This is Splinter Cell Blacklist. Yeah, it's a big deal that Splinter Cell Blacklist still is going. If you can find a Splinter Cell group, like a community on Xbox or PC that will play Splinter Cell um, online, because if you don't join a community, that will, let everyone know that they're playing and they need players and all that. Like if you're not part of anything like that, um, it can be really hard to find a game, pretty much too impossible by this point. If I can go full screen and this won't cause any problems. So this is me. I still play online with Alone Lobster sometimes. He's a part of the community I'm in. He's really good. Like the community, Splinter Cell Blacklist community I'm a part of. Like they're all really good. That's always my favorite thing in Splinter Cell is grabbing by the ledge. When they introduced that in Chaos Theory, and then they made it even cooler in Conviction and Blacklist. It's like even faster grabbing them from the ledge. It's even more intense. It's fun to watch this with you guys. All right. Go to the next one. So many Ryans. Yep, I know. All right. Let's see. It's the next one. Bum, bum. I think I started playing this when I was 17. Blacklist. I started playing this right before I turned 18, the month before 18. It's crazy that 2013 went by like that. Now this footage here, this was recorded this year, so this isn't gameplay footage from years ago. I wish I would have recorded gameplay footage from like way back then, but I just didn't know how. Like now we have a lot more resources for that. That's why people are live streaming video games, you know, like all the time now, because there's a lot more easier access to doing that. But for a long time, it was like you really had to be smart, and you had to have a PC to really do all that. Now it's just they give you a lot more easier access now. And also, I don't use Windows. That's the other thing. But if Mac, you know, if Ubisoft, you know, will put all the Splinter Cell games like on the Mac, let's just say, you know, in the future, like maybe remasters, you know, if they do that, I will definitely do live gameplay videos of Splinter Cell for you guys. I'll create live streams and play this stuff live for you guys. I'd love to be able to live stream through like my Xbox, but that's not really easy. It's not really an option they give you to do that. I mean, since YouTube is on Xbox, it would be cool if they did have a feature on there where you could just like set up a webcam, you know, to your Xbox or something, your TV, and it would connect. You know, maybe I don't know, maybe YouTube and we'll do something with Microsoft in the future with that. Probably not. But we'll see. So I think this was like a month ago. I think this was May. I think this is like the end of May. Oh, you got me. Like it's just they don't make online multiplayer like this anymore. You know, any online multiplayer that's out now, it's not this. It's not Spies versus Mercs. This is like the greatest online multiplayer ever. So when everyone is like, "Oh, GTA Online, GTA Online," like, I'm so done hearing about GTA Online. Now let's get some Spy versus Mercs back. You know, real online multiplayer. You know, real online multiplayer. This is what it is. Like, I'm tired of that GTA Online crap and all this open world stuff. And I'm not a boomer. Like, I'm from '95, so it has nothing to do with old. It has nothing to do with that. I wish it was. This would be a lot easier if it was just like, oh, it's because you know, you're from 1995. Or people are saying, listen, you're from 1960 something. Like, okay, but I remember when the Spy vs. Mercs trailer came out for Blacklist, and they showed that you could use a drone as a merc. I got so excited about that. I thought that was so cool when they showed that in the trailer. I'm like, oh, yep, I'm using that drone. But when you play classic mode, which is like the OG way, true way of playing Splinter Cell, Spy vs. Mercs, you can't use all that fancy stuff, drones and all that. It's very old school, which I prefer more. I prefer the more old school style of Splinter Cell, the grittier, realistic, less fast paced style, more ghost, more in the shadows, not as like action. Like I love that Blacklist was trying to find a mix of like all the previous games. You know, trying to mix the first four with Conviction. You know, with how the gameplay changed in Conviction, but they wanted to go back a lot to the old games too. I think they did a really good mix of both of those, of all those games with Blacklist. I think Blacklist was like trying to be the ultimate Splinter Cell game, like 'cause it's like, hey, it's Conviction, but also Chaos Theory. And I remember a lot of fans, we were excited about that, and that's what so many we were excited for Blacklist because wasn't like straying away from Conviction, neither of the old games either. Like it was a sequel to the old games, and it was a sequel to Conviction. So that's what made it so exciting. But it was way more like the old games than Conviction. Like there's parts in like the single player campaign that I played in Blacklist where when I first played it, I felt like I was playing the old games. Like I didn't feel like I was playing Conviction. Especially I played it on perfectionist mode when I first played the single player. And I'm glad I did because I got the true OG Splinter Cell experience playing perfectionist mode because there was no mark and execute, and you were limited on gadgets, and so a lot of it felt like export mode on Chaos Theory. But all right, so that was another one. Let's go to another. I'm trying to find a Splinter Cell Conviction gameplay video if I can find one. Deathmatch. Yeah, I want to see if, make sure how the live stream is going. Oh, thank you, Kaylee. Thank you. GTA Online is like the worst parts of humanity. Red Dead Online was fun, though, but this looks a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me go back. Trying to just find a really good one. Hmm, do this one.
ECC restarted. lives remaining. ECC neutralized.
See, like these Splinter Cells here, they're not Sam Fisher, you know? That's what I'm talking about. Like, have Sam pass it on to these characters. I mean, just new Splinter Cells. And, set up their stories, who they are. You don't have to over explain them because the whole point of us being a Splinter Cell is that you don't know everything about that character. So, like with Sam Fisher, the first 3 games, you didn't know everything about Sam. So you learn things about him as the games progressed, and that's what made it more interesting. So you don't want to overly go into the characters too much at the beginning of their arc. I mean, if you're going to set up other entries.
Secure this file for victory. The yellow terminal is being attacked.
I remember it was so intense when I first played Spy vs. Mercs.
Mission completed. The 2 memory.
Got a lot of memories for sure. I wish I could have played the Pandora Tomorrow Chaos Theory Spy vs. Mercs. I feel like I missed the best. But here we go. Here's some Splinter Cell Conviction right here. I'm the best at this game. Like any video game that exists out there, this is the game that like I am like a pro at. Like I won't say that about like many games I play. Like I say I'm like an average, decent player. I don't think I'm the greatest player you'll ever see, or one of the best by any means. But I don't think that I suck. I mean, I definitely do suck, but not at every single video game. Just Conviction was one of those games that really connected with me. And I played it after the first 4 games, so I loved the series before Conviction. I loved how it was before Conviction. But I loved what Conviction was doing. I thought it was cool. I thought the mark and execute thing was awesome. That it was a little more fast paced. That it was more like fast paced action stealth. But it was still stealth, though. It was still Splinter Cell. It was still, you're being in the shadows. So, like, if you were in the dark, it would become black and white, so you knew that you were in the shadows and the full darkness. And then when it would turn into color, that's when you knew you were, like, in the light. I always loved that. But Conviction did take away lockpicking, which I was not happy about. And Blacklist didn't bring back lockpicking either. Lockpicking was one of my favorite things about Splinter Cell. And any video games now, you see lockpicking all the time. That's because of Splinter Cell. They took that from Splinter Cell. And I do appreciate that nod. That other video games do that. It just shows you that Splinter Cell would just be better from a different franchise, a different video game studio. I mean, if it's not even the same people working at Ubisoft anymore, then what? Then you have nothing to lose with it going to a new studio. It's not like you still have people there that understood how those games worked and this and that and that. But yeah, it's more fast paced, but it's still Splinter Cell. Kestrel, and honestly, I wanted Kestrel to sort of kind of be the main character after Blacklist. I think that would have been cool as well, but they didn't do that. So I have other video games in here as well. I'm just looking for mainly the Splinter Cell ones.
Download a file from one of the 4 terminals and take the complete file back to the
I know I got to get better at labeling my folders and files of my video game recordings.
Your mission is divided into 3 phases. Infiltrate the zone and approach one of the data terminals.
When it comes to like my movies, I'm pretty organized with my folders and file names and all that. Very organized. Just when it comes to like just other videos that aren't my movies, I tend to not pay attention as much, or
The red terminal is being attacked.
just like titling the videos as much or folders.
ECC neutralized.
This game came out in
ECC restarted.
2006.
The blue terminal is being attacked.
That's crazy. I didn't play it till 3 years after it was out.
File secured.
I mean, I played the old version of Double Agent first, and I think that version is way better, in my opinion. And it has co-op. This 360 Double Agent doesn't have co-op. It only has Spy versus Mercs, and I love the co-op because that was great in Chaos Theory. And Conviction brought back the co-op, and it was to me that's the best co-op of the franchise, Archer and Kestrel. And then Blacklist even had co-op with Sam and Briggs, which was cool. I would say that was my least favorite co-op of all the games, but at least Blacklist had co-op mode. I mean, this version of Double Agent didn't have any co-op mode, and that was, I think, very, very disappointing. They just didn't even redo the Spy versus Mercs. I mean, the co-op from Chaos Theory Double Agent, just like bring back those agents from those 2 games and do something with that. They could have expanded upon that too. So
Your mission is divided into mission complete.
oh, and I locked an achievement. Look at that, Special Agent. Mm. When you play as a merc in this game and you're going around the whole map the whole time and there's no one to like, there's no one to find, like there's no one in the game, it's just you and your teammate, or the player, the spy is like just literally impossible to defeat. Sometimes players can kind of get fed up. Oh yeah, and I think I was like me and like some like group, Splinter Cell group. We were trying to like help each other like complete achievements from the game because how hard it is to play it online.
3 lives remaining.
So it's like we would play things like we'd play like the online matches in a way to where we just help the teammate unlock an achievement. They'd help me unlock an achievement. So I mean that was cool.
Mission failed. 2 memory cells have been exfiltrated. ECC restarted. Three lives remaining. ECC neutralized.
It's very risky if you are like hacking the terminal. Like you go right up to it, it just like it hacks faster if you go up to the terminal, right up to it.
The yellow terminal is being attacked.
I liked how Blacklist did the hacking better, and Chaos Theory, Spy vs. Mercs, Double Agent, Spy vs. Mercs. I mean, the original Xbox PS2 version, because like you basically would type into a computer and you would be hacking it that way. Just be like you'd be typing into this computer and hoping that you could like get it in time. And then in Blacklist you would I already played this one. And then Blacklist you would hack the terminal and then you'd have to just hide from the merc until like your hack would be complete. And I thought that was way better than Double Agents. I think Double Agent did have the weakest of the Spy vs. Mercs, in my opinion. So hopefully we get a new Splinter Cell, but at the same time, there's that part of me that doesn't want a new Splinter Cell. If it's going to be people that don't know what they're doing working on the game. Because I don't want to see, like, I don't want a new game to come out and it, like, ruins everything, like, what we love about the franchise and stuff, like, for a game to come out and, like, take, like, literally just, like, spit on the franchise. I don't want that. So it's like, yeah, I want a new game, but I really worry. Since it seems like nobody knows what they're doing. The Mark and Execute. I just remember when I first played Conviction, like I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And Execute wasn't like just something you could do. I mean, you have to perform a hand-to-hand takedown in order to get an Execute. But this is something really, just as a gamer, it's really intriguing. imagine it's something cool, but it's cool, but it can't just happen. Like you have to get a hand-to-hand takedown. You can't just like throw a grenade at an enemy and then mark and execute someone. You have to perform hand-to-hand takedowns. And so I really think this game did it really well. I felt like it was evolving Splinter Cell, even though it was straying away, from things from the earlier games. Um, but yeah. See what time is it? All right. I'm gonna keep my stream going till 9. Um, see how the live chat is. Um, hey Cody, that's cool. Kaylee says, I played Pandora tomorrow with my brother when I was a kid. First memory of Splinter Cell, good memories. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Um, yeah. Uh, it was just, I mean, the series was just, it was very relevant, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But um, yeah, I know that they're making that Netflix show or maybe that Netflix movie or whatever they're doing, but I don't know. I want a new game.
Maps, you will find a main generator. All the lights and door locking panels are linked to this generator. You can hack into this system using your hacking unit. Once it has been hacked into, you can cut out.
It's like, hey, let's do everything but a new video
Your
game.
mission is divided into 3 phases. Infiltrate the zone and approach one of the data terminals. Download a file from one of the 4 terminals.
Let's do a
and take the
movie. Let's do a
complete file
Netflix
back to
show.
the
Let's
control
do
drone.
all
2
these
complete files
ridiculous
required.
DLCs that no one cares about. Let's call them Zero something and Rainbow Six, and let's bring them in for Ghost Recon to set up a new game for Sam, even though we're not going to do that. It's just like it would have been better if Ubisoft just would have never done anything with Splinter Cell after Blacklist. Honestly, rather than them making this pointless DLCs and movies and shows. Just
3 lives remaining.
yeah, if they're not going to be serious and just make a new game, I think it needs to go to a different studio. Now, let's just say Blacklist would have came out, and then they wanted to do the DLC stuff right after, and that Netflix movie that's coming out. Like, let's just say that was, in already like in development when Blacklist like came out, and all that came out after Blacklist, like not too long after. Then that would have been cool. But because this franchise has been on hiatus for 12 years, it's not cool.
2 lives remaining.
And Lee Schreiber, he's a great actor, but I just don't. I don't care. I don't care.
Your mission is divided into 3 phases.
And I just want to like talk great about Splinter Cell again. I want to feel great as a Splinter Cell fan again. I hate this, honestly. I hate it. Like Splinter Cell was my escape from like just life, like any problems like at school or whatever. And then like when I became an adult, working, and then just in general, like anxiety I have, like PTSD, all that stuff. Like the Splinter Cell games help me with that. I'm able to like just go into like a strategic stealth action world, and Splinter Cell taught me a lot about patience and strategy. And being a movie director, it taught me more about patience uh, as well, without even like it telling me, the game telling me, hey, be a more patient movie director. But no, it was just playing these games. I learned that like patience can be very rewarding. So um, yeah, it's amazing with video games. That you can learn more about life or how to approach certain situations or things by playing a video game. But that's why these video games connect with us people. We all have our favorite video game. We all have our reason why. You know, and and we continue to go back to our favorite games. Because what they mean to us. So this is the first time really I've shown you guys a lot of Splinter Cell gameplay footage of me, like me playing it. Back in 2020, I released like a 10-year anniversary of Splinter Cell Conviction, 15-year of Chaos Theory, where I played 1 to 2 missions of those games just for its anniversary thing, and that's on my YouTube. But I didn't really get a whole lot of responses from people when I did release that. It was also COVID when I did too, but
Last life.
the fact that I didn't get comments a lot from people on that and likes, it didn't give me the inspiration to do more with Splinter Cell on my channel, because I just felt like, okay, not enough people are interested. Um, uh, so a lot of what inspires me is when people want me to make certain content, and that I know that there's an audience for it, and I'm not just doing whatever. Um, but with YouTube, you have to take risks. You don't know how some things are going to turn out, but all you can do is try. And people don't like it, they don't like it.
The yellow terminal is being attacked.
Was this one? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Check your evolution, your bonuses, or your setting.
All right. I wish I had like a classic mode match on here of uh, Blacklist. That would be really cool to show you guys that. Oh, yep. This is classic mode of Blacklist. Spy versus Mercs. This is me as a Merc in the game. Yeah, Blacklist definitely my favorite. Spy vs. Mercs. That's honestly the best thing about Blacklist is it's Spy vs. Mercs. Like that's the reason I come back to the game is the Spy vs. Mercs. Because I had a classic mode, which was really cool. It had a mode called Hardcore for a while when it first came out, and then Ubisoft removed it. I don't know why they removed it because it was like hardcore mode, then classic, then blacklist mode. But they just got rid of hardcore mode one day. It was just removed, and I was confused by that. But once Ubisoft they removed that from the game, they never touched this game ever again. They never went back to it.
You got a hacker, a terminal feed. Somebody take
They
him
just left it alone. They didn't do anything with it after that. So they didn't like come out with new DLC for the game.
Target down. Good job.
You know, they didn't do anything like that where they just added more maps. And I remember when the game first came out, everyone was expecting new maps to be added on. And Ubisoft made a mistake there. It's like there was the Splinter Cell fans playing this online all the time, and they just they're like, okay, we're done with this game. And I think the reason why is because the game didn't make the sales that they wanted to, that they were hoping. The reason for that was because they got rid of Michael Ironside. That's really hurt the game because I remember a lot of comments that were posted when the E3 reveal came out. It said no Ironside, no buy. That was a lot of people. A lot of people were refusing to play this game, to buy it, because Ironside wasn't doing the voice. So, but it was also because they picked an actor that doesn't even resemble Sam Fisher. He doesn't have the raspy voice, like all that stuff. He just doesn't have he didn't have the Sam Fisher, like everything. So let's see how you guys are doing in the chat. I heard the books continue a lot of the story and hand over to a new era of characters, but I just haven't accepted that it's over in the games to the point where I can read them. Still holding out. Yeah, I've read some of the books. I haven't read all the books, but I've read some of them. But I have not read all of them. I've read about 3 of them so far, and they're good. They're really good. I wouldn't mind if the movies, adapted the books, rather than just starting from scratch, But I don't know. Those books are I read them, like 3 of them, back when I was in middle school. So that was cool. All right, enough of that.
The red terminal is being attacked. File secure.
Yeah, it's just I think Blacklist Spy vs. Mercs improved upon a lot of things from Double Agent. I also just think Blacklist was more faithful to the old games, old Spy vs. Mercs, in terms of like classic mode. I feel like it was just more in line with the Pandora Tomorrow Chaos Theory Spy vs. Mercs. I feel like Double Agents was the weakest. It just didn't have, I don't know, the same flair, same effect as Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory. I think Blacklist brought back more of those elements when Double Agent was kind of. It did, but it was also doing its own thing too. I don't know. It just wasn't.
Mission failed.
Yeah.
2 memory cells have been exfiltrated.
So I remember when I was growing up playing this. I mean, when I was in middle school playing this and online, and I was like, I wish it was the Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory, Spy vs. Mercs, because I felt like I that those would have been better on the 360. They could have done a remaster of those. So. You guys having a good time? Haley, you having a good time? Like, is this boring you or anything like that? All right, cool. I just, yeah. We'll make sure everyone's having a good time.
File secured. The yellow terminal is being attacked. The red terminal is being attacked. Victory.
What kind of glitch was that? And that's Splinter Cell Double Agent. There was a lot of bugs in Splinter Cell Double Agent, the 360 version.
Secure this file for victory. Your mission is divided into 3 phases. Infiltrate the... Mission completed. The 2 memory cells have been exfiltrated.
All right, so let's play another one. Just trying to find a really good one. You guys missed this old intro? Does this take you back? Again. And when gaming was gaming, when video games were video games. Yeah, this main menu, I mean, this like loading menu here, like press start. My God, so many memories I have to this. I fell asleep to this like so many times. Like I would just fall asleep to the theme. And that's from Amon Tobin. He did the song for this part of the game, um, and he did the music for Chaos Theory. So another thing is they make a new Splinter Cell game. They need to bring back Amon Tobin, you know, as well for music. Just not sure if he would or not. I don't know. Let's see. All right, go. Some Splinter Cell conviction.
Surprise. Whoa, man! What are you waiting for? Fucking kill him! Ah!
It's probably the most replayed game that I've ever played. My most replayed Splinter Cell as well. It's just so replayable. To me, it was like the most replayable out of all.
Fucking reloading!
Like, this is what I want to see. I don't want to see some Netflix show or whatever. I want to see Sam Fisher back in action.
This is my house, you hear me? My house! Why don't you just goddamn die?
I mean, Splinter Cell was ahead of its time. I feel like it really was.
Andre Coben, were you saying something about my daughter?
Oh, God, no. Yeah, I was just messing with you, man. I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't mean it.
Then make it up to me. Tell me why you killed her.
I can't tell you. All you can do is kill me.
You see Sam's voice, like it's a certain tone, pitch, like that. Not everybody can, you know, sound like that.
It was just a job. They just gave me a picture and told me to provide a body. It's all it was, a dump job.
They isn't good enough. Who were you working for?
I can't tell you. I'm still working for them. They'll gut me if I tell you. Oh!
Piano. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite missions in the game was Coben's mansion. That was always so good. this has it more longer. Okay, so it's the same length. All right. It's the same. Okay, so that's the same file again. Okay. Okay. Nope, that's Black Ops 6. Hmm. All right. What I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna share more with you guys, just a little bit more. But first, I wanted to just show off my Splinter Cell video game collection real quick. So there's Splinter Cell Blacklist. This is still the copy that I got um, the night it came out um, in 2013. I just remember that at launch, this was just such a big deal when this came out. Um, we're discussing Splinter Cell, so this is everything Splinter Cell, not just showing gameplay videos. It's also because I love physical media, I collect physical media. So also the thing is, the Xbox Microsoft Store, they removed like all the games except for Chaos Theory. There's Chaos Theory, 360 Double Agent, 360 Conviction, and Blacklist, but Pandora Tomorrow you can't get anymore. The original Splinter Cell game, you can't get it anymore. And yeah, Pandora Tomorrow and the OG Double Agent version. So it's why backwards compatibility is so important, to hold on to your discs, to hold on to the physical copy of the game. I got this year because the old Conviction disc that I had was just no longer good. So you see, this is what I love about physical media, getting games is stuff like this, where it comes with this kind of stuff. So it's same as like when GTA 6 comes out. If you get like, the disc version of it, you might get like a book, a poster, you might get something included. Um, so that's why I think physical media is still very important. And if you don't like physical media, well, that's your problem. This physical media is amazing. This is the OG Double Agent version. This is the good version of Double Agent. This is not the 360 version. Uh, and this was the first Double Agent version I played. It was the PS2 version I played first. Before, I didn't get this until I had the 360, and then played it again years later. And yeah, it is way better than the 360 Double Agent, and majority of people agree as well. The first game, here we go. The disc is actually really bad now of this, so I'm gonna have to get a new disc of the original game. But like, I love this. Like, how cool that video games used to have this stuff. You would have the safety information. Uh, you would have like table of contents like that. Like it was like I mean, this stuff would teach you everything about um, the game, like how to play it online, how to connect it, the controls on the controller, you know, I mean, that's was something so cool about old manuals, is that you could just look at the controls just by the manual. Like you didn't have to just, I mean, you can look at it in the game, in the main menu, of course, and, gameplay videos and just looking it up online. But this stuff was just really cool because it would introduce the characters. It would tell you about the characters each game, so you would learn about stuff in the, you know, before you'd even play the game. It would tell you this is how the main menu is going to look, you know, and it got you, you know, excited, you know, and it was suspenseful. Like, you know, what am I going to expect when playing this? You know, first time playing, you know, Splinter Cell, because I remember first time I saw the very first game on the Xbox, I was like, it looked like real life. No, this is back 2003. I was like, that looks like real life. So to me, I thought Splinter Cell was always like ahead of their time with graphics as well. Like I always felt like the Splinter Cell games had the best graphics available at the time. Because they always were, each game I remember like the graphics would like hugely increase. Like it would get better and better each game. So, but then like the lock picking, let's like right here. This is what's missing in the Splinter Cell franchise. Is this the lock picking? Like that was the coolest thing about Splinter Cell. It says the lock picking standard set of picks, wrenches, and probes for bypassing standard cylinder locks. Slowly rotate the left thumbstick around the outer edge of its range until you see and hear the first pin begin to move. This means the left thumbstick is in the correct quadrant. Keeping the left thumbstick in the correct quadrant, wiggle the thumbstick very gently to release one of the pins in the lock. Repeat until all pins are released. So that just, I hope that they bring lock picking back. We need lock picking back in Splinter Cell. Video games have it literally all the time. Almost every video game I play now, there's lock picking somewhere, and I'm like, I feel like I'm back in a Splinter Cell game every time, and I'm like, where's Splinter Cell? It was cool, you know. They would say, you know, like, oh, watch out for the cameras, you know, the keypads. Like you'd have to find out the codes to unlock doors. You know, like how strategic that was. You'd have to watch out for turrets. And you could like use them on enemies. Like you could turn the turrets against them, which was cool. The retinal scanner was so cool because like Conviction and Blacklist, you can't just grab an enemy and, I mean, you did have to do that, but it was like cinematics and stuff, and it wasn't like the old games where you'd have to grab an enemy and really bring their face up to this retinal scanner, and put their face on it, and you would basically record their. I mean, it would capture their face so you could get in through a door. So it's like a locking device that needs the unique imprint of a person's retina before unlocking a door. No one without access can open a retinal scanner locked door, but those with the correct retinas can sometimes be convinced to open them for you. An incorrect retinal scan automatically triggers an alarm. So they even give you hints and tips, you know, right there. You know, cool. I mean, you know, video games are just not. And they have all the contact info in the back. They even have like the Ubisoft's mailbox. You know, I mean, like, yeah, just really cool. You know, video games. Yeah, that's the downside of digital is, you know, is the lack of that kind of quality of when you buy a game. All right, Chaos Theory. This could be a lot of people. It's their favorite Splinter Cell game. It's like argumentatively the best of the franchise. My personal favorite is Conviction, but Chaos Theory I would probably put at number 2. I almost would have them tied, honestly, because it's Chaos Theory took Splinter Cell to a whole different level, and everyone, I mean, when fans talk about Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, they talk about like it's the Dark Knight, the Empire Strikes Back to the Splinter Cell games. Like this was the Dark Knight, the Empire Strikes Back, the like the best entry, of a series that people will say, they look back and say that was the best one. Chaos Theory is that game. So, it's just iconic, and this I'm not gonna show you guys the whole manual, but basically, the old games, would go through the characters' main menus, controls, the video game controls, the split jump. I mean, I missed the split jump. That's one of the coolest things to us Splinter Cell fans is the split jump. Like that is it's just so cool. This was the Splinter Cell game that introduced his knife. First time you ever get introduced to his knife. Let's see. I'm sure they got an image of it in here. No, I'm not seeing it actually. Split screen. This mode allows you to play with other players on the same screen using different controls. You can play different co-op modes using split screen. Yeah, split screen is like one of the coolest things ever too. Honestly, it's underrated because video games don't really do much with split screen anymore, and I miss that. So, but yeah, that's cool. Manual that it came with. So that's the Splinter Cell games that I own, and I just wanted to show you guys them. This is the 360 Double Agent. I still have this. This was the first. This and Splinter Cell Conviction were the first games I owned on the 360. So that now unboxing videos on my YouTube channel as well. And that was before I went through any of this. So I just miss this stuff. I mean, this is what got me more engaged in the games and wanting to play them. And I love that these manuals always had the controls, like they tell you, where the controls were. I love that stuff. Right, look at that. This is when Ubisoft was Ubisoft, guys. This is when Ubisoft was actually a studio and not a parody. All right, so I'm going to share a little bit more gameplay stuff, not too long, just a little bit more, and then I'll do a 5-minute wrap on the stream, and then I'll end it. So I'm saying around I'm 9:30. I mean, I kind of wanted to keep the stream going till 10. I mean, because it is going to be the 4th at midnight. So this almost is kind of like in a way, 4th of July live stream. But yeah, I say about another half hour. Because I know people have a lot going on. I don't want to keep people. But yeah, I've just been wanting to do this for a while, and a lot because Splinter Cell. It's just a franchise that hasn't been around and for a while, and it needs to come back. So okay, all right, found some more. Okay, all right, back to sharing gameplay footage. Let's start with start with this. This is Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. I love Pandora Tomorrow. I just love this franchise overall. I mean, to me, it's one long game. Like the first game to Blacklist, like it's just this one long game to me. It's how much I love all the games.
Good work, Fisher.
There's not a Splinter Cell game that exists where I'm like, oh, that was so bad I can never play that.
Turn those back on.
I will say though, I think I favored Pandora Tomorrow the most out of the first three games when I was growing up. I think Pandora Tomorrow I like the most because of its music, the maps. I like the ending, like the airport, LAX airport mission. That he's like in the jungle, and like I just thought Pandora Tomorrow did a lot of cool stuff. But it was still a lot like the first game though, which I liked. It just was. It fixed some things from the first game. It improved upon some things. And I think that's what made Pandora Tomorrow just really cool. But looking back, I would say the first game is better because, like, the voice actors for
How much
Sam
longer do you think
and
they'll be
Grim
here?
Until they convince the U.S. we're not worth the trouble.
are the
Why?
original
Are you
voices.
saying you don't support Sedano?
No. I've got an allergic reaction to machetes, which makes me a firm Daradandoa supporter.
Oh, I'm glad to have Sedano here. Suddenly feels like we have a cause beyond money. Somebody to follow.
Get her! We need a security agent.
Alarm stage 1.
I hear something.
This is 2023. This is gameplay footage from 2023. The old whack.
I hear something.
That was the thing. Chaos Theory, introduced, the lethal, non-lethal takedowns, and really just improved upon the first two games. But like stuck to how these first two games are like, though. I think that's why people love Chaos Theory, because it's after the first two games and it's before Double Agent and Conviction and Blacklist. It's in the middle of everything. That was fun about Splinter Cell, was shooting out lights. You could shoot out lights. That was always something I loved about those games. So when you turn on your night vision goggles, it was so cool. And you hear that noise. Like this game, Pandora Tomorrow, is better than most games that are out today. That's sad. But it does complement how great of a franchise this is. I feel like Splinter Cell, like would work, like it works like for games today. Like I just feel like because it's
Good work, Fisher.
I don't know, because it's strategic and
What the hell?
it's a smart game.
Is somebody shooting?
And if they came out with a new one now, how realistic the AI would be too. Like the AI would be like,
Security stage in three.
so realistic.
Stage 1. Flak jackets on.
Alarm stage 1. Sam, don't be detected.
Be careful, Fisher. Stealth skills are crucial for this operation.
How much longer do you think they'll be here?
Until they convince the U.S. we're not worth the trouble. Why? Are you saying you don't support Sedano?
No. I've got an alert.
What the hell?
Security stage decreased. Security stage back to normal.
Okay, it seems they've gone back to normal.
What is that? Security stage 1. Jackets on.
Alarm stage 1. Sam, don't be detected.
You are paid to be invisible.
I don't like daytime Splinter Cell maps. I really don't. I like when it's at night, Splinter Cell. I like when the missions are at night. Daytime.
Security stage back to normal.
I mean,
Okay, it seems they've gone back to normal.
as like a spy that Sam is, like, yeah, he has to. It doesn't matter day or nighttime. Like, he has to do these things in the day as well. I just, like, in a Splinter Cell game, I want it to be minimal because I just think most of the maps taking place at night just works. I think fits much better. And that was smoke. That was the gas that he used. So he just knocked them out. Sam Fisher didn't kill them. And that's the thing about Splinter Cell is you can be non-lethal. You don't have to kill enemies. You can knock them out. You know, use sticky shockers, sleeping gas. So it gives the player the option if they want to be lethal or not. You know, you can choose to play the whole game, most of it, non-lethal.
The dogs are acting weird.
They must be hungry.
I love
I don't
that.
think so. There's something
that.
wrong. It's too quiet.
I'm taking fire. Stage increased. Stage 1. Flak jackets on.
Alarm stage 1. Sam, don't be detected.
Fisher, you are paid to be invisible.
It's the old graphics. There's no blood.
nothing
Like,
here.
it's so cartoony.
Somebody shooting.
But I mean, the game looks amazing. I mean, for 2004, you know, there's games from 2004 that don't look this good.
Who is that? Show yourself. We're imagining things. I hear something.
That was always cool when you could find like a gadget, you know, like in missions you could find one somewhere, like in a tent or an office room. You know, there'll be like a disposable lockpick or a sticky camera. Like I you know, the newer Splinter Cell games. I mean, Conviction, Blacklist, they took that out. Even though Blacklist you're able to find dead drops, which were like things that you could unlock and stuff in the game. So that was cool. All right, so that's one of them. That's Pandora Tomorrow. So I just love that. Playing it, showing it. Oh, Pandora Tomorrow just makes me so happy. It's just like stepping into my childhood with those voice lines. That's awesome, Kaylee. I'm glad that I can make you feel that way. Oh, and the time is 9:13. It's my birthday number. 9:13. Anyway, yeah, Pandora Tomorrow, classic. Seriously, classic. And I play it probably once a year. I'll play all of them, like the games, once a year. This was the LAX mission, I think. Yeah, this is like the hardest Splinter Cell mission of all the games. Because like you have to be Ghost
Great work, Fisher.
the whole time, and it really tests your patience and yeah, really tests your patience. But it's memorable though. It's a memorable game. It's a memorable finale. The fact that this game is about stopping smallpox virus and Sam Fisher trying to stop that, so people don't get infected with the virus. And this game went into like vaccinations and like all that stuff. And so it was weird when I was playing this during COVID. It was really weird. Like in this map, like you have to hide behind luggages. And you have to be so creative. You're literally a spy. It's not the Bond games. It's just run and gun. Like Splinter Cell, you have to think. You have to be strategic. And the Bond games, can be that way too. I mean, it can be strategic and stuff. But Splinter Cell is a whole different level. Sam Fisher's like the realistic versions of what spies are. Like, this is what a spy is. You're not like in tuxedos and drinking martinis and, typical Bond life.
I heard something strange.
LAX International Airport, Los Angeles, California, April 23rd, 2006.
Fisher, we have additional intel. It seems they have 2 more terrorists who have infiltrated the waiting zone in the office area.
Fisher, you cannot leave any terrorists behind. This will jeopardize the rest of the mission.
This is such a hard part. Oh my god.
American agent.
We've got a terrorist radio alert.
They know you're there. Mission's
This is when the mission gets really hard. It's Resident Evil. Let's see. Retinal scanner.
Where's the last smallpox sample?
Who says there's only one more?
You do if I squeeze hard enough. Where and how many?
Next door. Hundreds.
Where's the small box?
Everywhere. Do you have children?
Where's the small box?
How many children? Where are they now?
The questioning only gets worse once I'm gone.
I'm not afraid of pain.
You can learn.
You can learn from pain. Huh? Maybe once America has suffered, she will start to learn. I know it's too late for you, but maybe your children.
You don't learn so quickly.
I'm ready. Kill me. Your violence makes you a coward.
Great work, Fisher. You're well on track to becoming history's most prolific unknown author of world events.
If I had any blood left, I'm sure I'd be blushing. Is Ingrid in position on the roof?
That's right. And the helicopter, too. Keep Sedano conscious until you've made visual contact with Carlson.
Can I get a confirmation, Fisher? Sedano's alive and you've got him?
Yes.
Fantastic. Don't worry about leaving a mess behind you on your way out. We're arranging to sweep up after you're gone.
We're not in the clear yet. Get Sedano to the roof. Ingrid's waiting.
Keep hurting me. It's just flesh. Your violence makes you a coward. The box is under your child's armpit.
Here. I would have gift wrapped him, but I couldn't find any duct tape.
It always shocks me how young he looks. Like a little kid compared to his face on television.
You honestly liked him?
No. Respect, maybe, but I know he's a monster. He has a child's idea of war. Can't tell the difference between a citizen and a soldier. He thinks the whole world is a morally viable target.
There's only one nation on the planet fighting the whole world.
Huh. Whose side are you on?
You know I can't say that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who you are or how you do what you do, but thank you. I hope we can work together again.
Such a great game. Yeah, just a great video game franchise. I mean, oh wow, just chills.
What the heck? No.
This was before you could like in this game before you could like jump over ledges and like chaos theory and stuff. So that's why this is even more challenging. But yeah, I mean, this was one of the missions in the franchise where you really feel like you're a spy, undercover spy. You really feel like you're trying to prevent a war. Like it just it was such an intense mission because it ends not all action packed. You know, it ends ending is very stealthy. It's very Splinter Cell. and it feels more real because it doesn't end so action-packed. This was the first Splinter Cell game where you could whistle. I remember being blown away by that when I first played this. And then they took the whistling away in Conviction, which I wasn't happy about. And then Blacklist brought it back, which was great. And then even like if you have like the Kinect, you could like whisper to the AI enemy through the Kinect. Basically, you can be Sam, like whistling. I've tried it before. It's actually really intense, and I didn't try it till like last year. I got the Kinect on sale, and I just like in the game, like when there's an enemy, I'll say, "Hey you," or "Hey you," and then the AI enemy he'll keep reacting to me talking to the Kinect. Like that's pretty cool. The Kinect definitely doesn't read your voice like very easily, but when it does, it was a cool add-on. But I didn't experience when Blacklist first came out because I didn't get a Kinect. I never was interested in it back when it came out.
We have an indication where Soth could be. He seems to have entered the ticketing area just below you.
Fisher, we need confirmation on this. Locate Soth in the ticketing area. We need to ID him.
The leg story again. I might be too far away.
It should work from the balcony at the bottom of the escalators.
See, a modern day Splinter Cell game, you know how cool that would be? This stuff? Like,
Fisher, spot Soth in the area below using your thermal and binoculars.
when I was playing this, I think I forgot to use my binoculars. To not use like the lens on the scope on the SC20K instead, just the camera. Just the binoculars itself. Going. Yeah, because I ran into trial and error. Like, what am I doing wrong? Yo, oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, I guess I was not thinking when I was playing that day. That was like 2 years ago or something like that when I was recorded. Another one. This is in for the Jerusalem mission. Andor tomorrow, France. No, this is Paris, the Paris mission. No, it's not Paris, France mission. No, it's the I think it's Jerusalem. I think that's where this map takes place. Yeah, Jerusalem.
Great work, Fisher. Now find out what's in it.
I could open it.
And you could play Russian roulette with a clip-loading pistol.
Where's your sense of humor?
We got a CIA analyst waiting with Cohen. Man by the name of Bellagio Sampler.
Bellagio Sampler?
You asked where my sense of humor was. updates on your OPSAT.
Not that bad looking of a game, you know, for 2004. This is like one of my least favorite parts of the game. No, it was the part earlier where it forces action on you. Anytime Splinter Cell game forces action on you, I never like that. And I love conviction, but I'm still not a fan of action being forced on the player. You know, Splinter Cell, it's about choice, you know, and you know, you take that away when you have characters forced to put them in a situation that they didn't even put themselves in, you know. I mean, you have to do some things with cinematics, you know, for story and things like that. But yeah, I think Chaos Theory did it the best out of all the games when it came to ghosting, ghost mode, non-lethal. I think Chaos Theory is the best at that. This part is always hard because you have to exfiltrate, you have to get out of there, but it's where the guards are. And for me, like, the only way I can like beat this mission is if I knock the guards out. I can't just bypass them. There's no way. It's all non-lethal takedowns. So he's just knocking them out. I was whistling because I'm trying to get the other AI to hear me because he's so far. And that light cannot be shot. It's the worst. In the old games, like the AI enemy is still holding their gun, their machine gun or whatever. It's so funny.
You and Cohen
They're
can
just
get
like,
out
I
of
give
there.
up.
Mission's complete.
You think that smallpox is the real thing?
I hope to God not. There's certainly been suggestions in Syrian intelligence that they've been developing agents. All we can do is let Bellagio do his job and hope.
You think smallpox is the Springfield demonstration?
I don't want to guess.
Can you tell me now why I killed Dahlia?
No, not yet. I know you're not happy about it, but preventative measures are never satisfying. Meet Cohen and get to Amityville.
All right, I'll play one more. And then I'll wrap this up. This is just fun. Like I don't even I like I would love to just keep this stream going. Like this is so much fun. So I've never shown you guys me play uh this much Splinter Cell. So I love this. Just Step by Daylight.
How's that being thing?
I don't like it. Give them some time. They're probably just being thorough. Or they're dead. Get ready! Oh, shit! Give me some backup! Bruno! There's Fisher! Way!
No way.
You know this!
Oh,
Oh,
how many times the AI conviction? Oh my god.
Time for an ass kicking!
It's one of the few things Splinter Cell was never really that good at was the AI. Like just like how they would react and respond to things. That was never Splinter Cell's biggest strength, really. That's GTA 3. Try to play one that's shorter. All right, I'll ask you, Kaylee. Oh, retinal scanner trick is slick. Yes, Mike Ironside's voice just makes everything work. It's fine without, but it's perfect with him. Yeah, yeah. Um, for my last, I'm going to show one more Splinter Cell video, but I'll let you be the one to choose. Pandora Tomorrow um, or Conviction. Which one should be the last one? I mean, I have so many. I would love to just play like all of them and have like a long live stream. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll do another Splinter Cell live stream um, in the future, and you know, show more of my gameplay videos to you guys. I'd love to do this again. Um, I mean, why not? I mean, uh, it's just because Splinter Cell, it's us fans, we got to keep it going, and in any way. But yeah, I just like celebrating this franchise at a time where it's in a really rough spot. All right, we will pick. Oh, I got the first game too. Man, there's so many to choose. All right, I'm gonna do 2 short ones. That's it. 2 short ones. This is the first Splinter Cell game. This is like the last mission, the very end. First one's a classic. I mean, I love the music from the first game. I love that it was the introduction to this world. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, if they did a remake of this game, I'd want the music to come back. All the original score from Michael Plowman, I think is his name. Yeah, that they should bring back the original music from the first game.
There's nothing here.
Yeah, this last mission's hard. The first game, oh man. LAX is still harder, but this is definitely up there. Like, it's the hardest mission. Yeah, the first 2 games have the hardest, like, last mission. Because Chaos Theory's last mission is hard, but compared to the first 2 games, like their last mission, it's not as bad. Early 2000s cinematics, you know. Epic game. All right, Pandora Tomorrow. One more, it's Pandora Tomorrow. Click on a good one. I'm not trying to pick a 10-minute one. I'm trying to pick a shorter one. So, almost. Aztec Chainsaw Massacre video game. Oh, here we go. All right, there's all right. Okay. All right. 2 quick Pandora Tomorrows, and then I'm done.
I'm engaging the enemy.
Yeah, this is a really hard part of the game when you have to capture Sedano, because he's doing a live broadcast that he's gonna like let the smallpox virus just spread to the whole world, and Sam has to stop him from doing the broadcast. So. And the thing about Splinter Cell is it's not Call of Duty. You know, it's more similar to Metal Gear Solid, but it's its own thing. Like, it's like a military game, but it's not your average military game. Like, it's strategy and
I've got a man unconscious.
characters questioning choices. I just games are so much that I don't see a lot in war games. Yeah, it's not just the action, and not even necessarily the stealth. It just there's a lot to these games.
Dead man, one of ours! Somebody attacked one of ours!
And then, like, if you knock the enemy out, then, like, the enemy finds another enemy finds the enemy you knocked out, they can, like, wake them up. And you have to, like,
Engaging hostiles!
knock them out again.
Taking fire, need backup!
Epic fail.
Radio Sedano. He'll want to hear. What the hell?
Sound, speed, and we're rolling. Tape for distribution, May 1st, 2006, take 4.
Citizens of the world, I am alive and well, and closer than you think. It has been 10 days since the day claimed to be that of my death by the U.S. government. I'm under attack!
It's so scary. Or they just, like, know where you are, you know? Save your bullets. These games are smart, you know? He's shooting, though, all the equipment. It's this camera equipment. That was something cool that Pandora Tomorrow had.
Go ahead.
Was that little laser thing.
But we only just met.
This is the only Splinter Cell game that had that.
No such luck.
Until, I guess, Conviction and Blacklist, they had the laser on the pistol. This is the train in Pandora Tomorrow. This is the last one for today. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want to stop playing these.
What is that? There's something here. Huh? We've got visitors. Our cover's been blown. We're getting off the train now.
Talk to me about number 4.
It's them or you.
What Lambert says, it's them or you. I always love that. Okay. All right. Well, I guess for today, that is the gameplay recordings that I have of Splinter Cell that I'll show you guys. Uh, Thank you guys so much for watching. I put so many hours into Pandora Tomorrow. Innovation in that game just made you want to keep playing. Also, when I was young playing it, this felt like an interactive movie. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I've spent so many hours um on Pandora Tomorrow. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a classic. And The music I always thought was iconic. I love the music. When Splinter Cell Essentials came out on the PSP, the music for that game was Pandora Tomorrow's music, and I loved that. I thought that was so cool. Uh, like Essentials was like a mix of like the first four games in one, and so that's why like it's fun to go back to that one sometimes. Um, but Pandora Tomorrow, yeah, it's just a classic because it continued the first game, but added more. It improved upon the gameplay, graphics, story. Um, it just was a better game. Um, but the first one still is a masterpiece, and Chaos Theory. I mean, it's an amazing trilogy. The first three games are amazing, and just the series in general, like the OG Double Agent. We're talking the OG Double Agent version with Conviction, uh, and I guess Blacklist. Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, it's a great franchise, and for that many sequels to hit the bar, to get to the level it needs to be, Splinter Cell rarely disappointed. Really, biggest disappointment they did was the voice, changing Sam's voice. But other than that, um, it's very consistent franchise, and um, uh, yeah, um, it would be great to just see this franchise continue with a new game, and to go back to a lot of what worked in the early games, and just bring Splinter Cell back. Of course, you have to bring it into modern day audience. You have to um, it's not just you're making a new game for an older generation. It's also for a newer generation as well. And I think Blacklist was doing a good job at that though, with Ghost Panther Assault modes where you could ghost your way through the game, Panther your way through the game, go Call of Duty throughout the game if you wanted. Like, um, it would be cool if a Splinter Cell game did that again. That gave you the choices and options like that. And I think Blacklist was kind of going back to what that was with Chaos Theory. And Yeah, I just hope we get one more game with Ironside before they start over with a new actor. I hope we can get a proper send off with Sam. Um, and I really don't have any hope anymore for this franchise. I've accepted that it's dead. That it's this franchise is not going to come back in terms of like the video game world of it. I mean, the Netflix movie and all that, like, okay, but like the games, and Sam Fisher's story and Ironside, like that's why mm, I play these games and why I love them so much. So I just hope that Ironside and Ubisoft can work something out. You know, I just don't know if they can, but I really hope they can because I love to see a really great finale to Sam's character and setting up new characters. A game that kind of is a sequel and reboot. You know, Someone said something about an adaptation of Splinter Cell Firewall, but I don't know that novel. Yeah, I think I heard about that. I think there was one book that Sam's daughter became a Splinter Cell, which I mean that's cool because it's like Sarah Fisher, his daughter, was always in the story. but like a background character. I mean, she was there, to help develop Sam's story, and to go into that he's a dad, and his life as a dad, and going into Sam's life. That's not the military espionage spy part of him. It's the you know just the who's Sam Fisher, without that stuff. And he's a father and has a daughter, and so Sarah was always there in the storyline for that. And then Conviction, well, Double Agent, then it's written that she died, and then Conviction, then it's written that no, she didn't die. So they did a lot with Sarah Fisher, with her character in the series. Even in Blacklist, they brought her character back, for Sam to talk to her like through the voice. Just it didn't sound right because Eric Johnson sounds like he's in his 30s, and his daughter is already like in her, I think, late 20s, um, by the time Blacklist takes place. So it's weird. It doesn't sound like an old father talking to his daughter. It just didn't. Yeah. So that's the issues with Blacklist, and the voice work with Sam was that stuff. And that's how important your voice is, to your character. It's very important. You know, I mean, you don't get the voice work right. It's just so important. Acting and performance. And um, someone said something about adaptation. Yeah. So basically, Sarah Fisher, I think she became a Splinter Cell, and uh, it was like the story was passed on to her. Like Sam passed the torch to her, um, which honestly I would be okay with, because Sarah Fisher, she's been established. I mean, she's been a well-known character for over 20 years. She's not some character that's come out of nowhere. And it's Sarah's daughter, and we've seen his daughter grow up, and him trying to save her life. Conviction kind of had like the Taken element, a little bit of that, and uh, it's just like if they did something like that where Sarah Fisher would be a Splinter Cell for maybe a couple games or something like that. I would be fine with it. I don't think fans would, though. I think that there would be um a lot of backlash, and oh, a woman can't be a Splinter Cell, and a woman can't take over the franchise, kind of thing. I mean, that's what the comments that people would be saying and stuff. And I think that'd be really cool, because uh, I feel like finally, like, the franchise did something with Sam's daughter that wasn't just oh, that's his daughter, and oh, he has to save her life, and that whole thing. Like, to give her a different story, would be really cool. And it almost like you don't even have to pass the torch to her. It could just be passed the torch onto her for one game, and then she, is sort of setting up like she could be a Splinter Cell for like one game after Sam, but then Sarah, maybe eventually she wants to leave Fourth Echelon, no longer be a spy, and then it's passed on to other characters. You know, um, they could do stuff like that. Um, and that would all be cool. There's so many different ways that they could go with the Splinter Cell franchise, so many different stories, but but Ubisoft is not taking that risk. They're just not taking that risk, and it's a real shame. It's a big shame. They should get Tom Clancy to write a new book to get traction on the franchise again. It would also legitimize Sarah as Sam's successor. Yeah, I agree, but Tom Clancy, he passed away in 2013. So, or no, 2014, he died. So, he couldn't write it. Uh, yeah, I mean, that was a big thing when that happened. I remember when Tom Clancy died. I was like, wow. Um, and they interviewed his son once when Splinter Cell Blacklist was coming out, and that was it. And his son seemed like he liked Splinter Cell. Um, but then that was it. Like, and I think that's also why Splinter Cell is in the mess that it's in because Tom Clancy's no longer around as well. So it's not like the studio's like, oh, Tom Clancy's still around. We got to make a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game. Um, so it's probably a little bit of that too. Who knows that Ubisoft, the relationship they had with Tom Clancy as well. Maybe they didn't get along. Maybe they were working on the Splinter Cell games. They had to get certain approvals from him, and they didn't. It wasn't a good process working on them with them. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be reasons why they're not making a new game. You know, and I think of all these different factors. Instead of just one. Like, just you can't just think that it's because of this thing or this thing. You know. So yeah, I just hope that we get a new game. But before that, I hope that I hope a studio buys Splinter Cell and maybe all of Tom Clancy, everything Tom Clancy, um, or just the Tom Clancy family estate that they should like all their games. Uh, just the name Tom Clancy should just go to a different video game studio, uh, video game company, and start over. Ubisoft has Assassin's Creed. They have their other stuff, or Star Wars Outlaws and whatever that is, uh, and all that. But yeah, I mean, franchises like Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, like that would be cool to see it be. How about Xbox? Why not Xbox just buy it? I mean, Xbox bought Activision. I didn't think about that, but they bought Activision, so they own Call of Duty. You know, I mean, why isn't I mean, Splinter Cell was an Xbox exclusive to begin with in the beginning, and Splinter Cell Conviction is still a Xbox exclusive, a 360 exclusive. That's the only way you can play Conviction is either if you have a Windows or if you have a Xbox. Um, so that's the only way you can play it. So actually that would be um, Lucasfilm stripped Ubisoft of Star Wars rights after. Yeah, I know that was awesome. Yep. Well, I don't blame them. They're a bad studio. They're a bad video game studio. They're a bad video game company. They're just not good. So I do think that they need to be bought out. Um, there needs to be a new company that needs to take over Ubisoft. And if not, uh, the the Tom Clancy family estate should take their titles to a different video game company and have them work on that instead of Ubisoft. Let Ubisoft rot to the ground like they deserve. Let their company burn to the ground, um, metaphorically speaking, and have a new company take over titles that they were working on, such as Tom Clancy titles. Through these 20 years, and give it to people that really care about those franchises and those stories, and will do their research and really, even if they don't know anything about it, that they will do their homework and make try to make that next Splinter Cell or whatever as much like it. You know, I don't know. This has been going. It's going on 3 hours, so I'm good. So thank you so much, Kaylee, and to everyone else that joined this live stream. Thank you guys so much. This was super, super fun. Um, I don't have anything planned for 4th of July, so this was a really cool thing to do. And Oh, no problem, Kaylee. Anytime. Thank you for being my moderator. Um, and it's just it just feels good getting back into live streaming and just my regular videos again, reaction videos, unboxing videos, uh, just me updating about my movies instead of editing my movies. Like 9 months, for 9 months, I was editing New Ghostface and Rise on the Street, and right now it just feels so great that I'm not editing my movies every single day and getting back into writing my scripts and be able to make other videos that aren't just my movies. So thank you guys for watching. I will create another live stream soon. I'll make another video soon, of course. I'm sure there'll be a reaction video to something that'll be coming out. Um, I just don't know what that'll be, but we'll see what that is. But more on its way, from my channel. We'll continue content throughout the summer. But I think this was a good start. Um, so like if I want to do a retrospective on Splinter Cell and stuff, I feel better now a little bit more that I with this live stream, and I feel more a little more confident in to just have live streams that are or videos that just aren't just my movies, other things as well. So uh, so yeah, I'm going to get back to reading one of my books. I'm going to get back into my writing, my screenwriting, and watch some movies, play some video games, and yeah, I hope you guys have a great holiday. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and thank you all for joining my live stream. And I will talk to you all very soon. I'll talk to you soon, Kaylee. Thank you so much for being my moderator tonight, and happy Fourth, guys. All right, peace.